Hitmaker, smooth operator, and certified melody machine. From the Maven factory floor to global charts, he's built a career on consistency, charisma, and bangers. Whether he's giving us Katapot, shutting down the street with Ozumba Mbadiwe, or sliding effortlessly between Afropop and R&B, one thing's clear: he knows the formula and he's still got it. But beyond the music, there's a mind, a brand, a business. That is why the game needs him. Ladies and gentlemen, Reekado Banks.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another beautiful episode of CreativiTEA. And today we're definitely going to get a delicious tea because we have an amazing guest in the house, and I'm so happy to have him here. Is one talent that we've all known for a long time, and the vibe to his songs is one of my favorites. Not because he's here. Actually, it's actually one of my favorite because I'm an R&B head, so I like when people sing, and this guy can sing. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Reekado Banks.
Feels good. Thank you.
How are you?
Blessed.
One of my favorite songs. What's that song again?
Rora.
I love that song. Like, I played that song to the extent that I'm sure that my YouTube will be begging me, please, can
No
you play
way.
something else? I swear I love that song.
I'm glad.
Yeah, nice to meet you
Absolutely.
in person. It's not the first time I'm meeting you, but I'm sure it's the first time you're meeting me.
Yes, correct about
How
that.
are you? How are you
Very
feeling?
well. I feel good. I feel blessed. How are you two?
I'm fine, thank you.
Lovely. I like your skirt.
Thank you so much. Okay, so today we're here because Reekado Banks is about dropping something phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we're going to talk about it. But before then, like we usually do, we like to always open people up to get to
Okay.
know them. Yes.
That is a scary part of this whole
No,
ordeal.
you can only talk about things you're comfortable talking about with. So we will not push.
To be honest, I'd love honestly to talk about everything. But
No,
it's
you can't
a
even
scary
talk about
thing.
everything here. You know why?
Cool.
Because we try to focus mostly on the creative aspect of things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
good.
that's how we do here.
Okay.
But we always like to know your roots, like what inspired you to become who you are, for
Okay.
example. So
Okay.
like where were you born?
Right.
Yeah, because I don't know that actually. I know you, but I really don't know where you were born.
Right.
Yes, I don't know if you were a music head when you were small, if you were quiet, or you were, things like that. So just give us like a little bit of information about your childhood.
Yeah, I was born in Lagos. I was born in Ejigbo, Lagos.
Okay.
And I've lived in different parts of Lagos. I've lived from Ejigbo to Mero to Ketu to Ikorodu to Yaba to Lekki. So I've lived in different parts, and that's a function of my father's job. My dad is a pastor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I'm just hearing that for the first time.
And he was always moved around.
Okay.
So that like made
Is your dad
all
still
that.
a pastor?
I mean, he's retired now,
Okay.
although he still has a church.
Okay.
But he used to pastor in Christ Apostolic Church, and he's retired. My dad is quite an old man now. Yeah, so.
Okay. So what school did you attend?
Oh yeah. For school, primary school was Beulah Field. It was a good one because I think, the first student to be admitted on scholarship. Yeah. The story about that was my dad was walking me one evening. I think I was about 2 years old. And a lady was walking past us. And I said, "Hello, good evening."
To the lady.
To the lady. Apparently, she was the headmistress of the school I was going to attend. And she was like, "Wow, I want this kid in my school." And that was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you've been a star from the childhood.
Who knows, I guess. So for secondary school, I was quite wheeze as well because I didn't do some classes. I think even in primary school I was skipped a few classes up, and then in secondary school I think I missed JSS2 just because I think when I was going to register in this school, Brainfield in Mira. I think I passed the exams a little bit too much,
Oh,
and
so you were an A plus student
and
actually.
and I was asked to just move up classes, and so yeah, Brainfield, and then I studied at the University of Lagos,
Wow, what did you study?
history and strategic studies.
Nice. So when did you start singing? Did you start from your childhood
I
or
think it started in 2008. This was when I had just finished secondary school, and you know, listening to everything on TV, including I Came to Dream. Everything on TV was exciting to me, and I started to think I could write stuff. And I think because of my art background, I was very convinced I could. And shout out to my older brother, my immediate older brother, who saw the talent and encouraged me by, in fact, learning to produce. So he was then producing my music.
Oh wow.
And not to miss the fact that my dad was, I don't know, divinely encouraged to build me my first studio.
Do you know I was keeping that your dad part? I was gonna ask you that. How did your dad feel being a pastor? And how did he feel when you started doing music? Obviously, he liked it if he built your studio for you.
Absolutely. I mean,
Wow.
he had never even heard anything I was making.
Mm,
He's probably never heard anything until I even got signed. But I'm thankful that he was able to just be that guy to help us make it
interesting.
easy.
Wow. So what tribe is he?
He's Yoruba. He's from Ondo
Oh,
State.
you are
I'm Yoruba man.
Oh, that's interesting. Cool.
How about you?
I'm the one doing the questions here.
I mean, we're having a
I'm
conversation.
Igbo
Okay,
and Urobo.
sweet.
Yeah.
I was seeing somewhere that Nigerian men should marry Yoruba women.
Why?
I don't know, like I don't know.
But it's
There's
good,
some
because my mom is
special
Yoruba,
something.
and we're special. Thank God. Igbo and
Interesting.
Yoruba together, very special.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that was your childhood. It was pretty interesting. I've just learned that you were very, very intelligent. And
Apparently.
so apparently you were very intelligent and you started singing after your secondary school, right?
Right.
Yes. And so where in the midst of this did you now get signed to Maven?
So in 2013, I think now 5 years into already
Your
making music and
Yeah.
already in uni, I think my third year. There was Don Jazzy had put out a thing on Twitter that he wanted to hear new music, he wanted to hear up and coming artists, just and then he put out this email address that people should just put in their music. And my older brother, who was my producer at the time, had seen it. I didn't see it because I didn't even have a phone, but he did see it and he told me about it, and then we sent a song, and I was reached out to come into the Maven studio to just vibe in the studio. I remember going to the studio. I remember getting into the estate. I'm like, wow, this is somewhere I'd like to be. This is somewhere I wanna keep as history. And then after a hectic day coming from Ikorodu all the way to Nikon town, we got in the studio for about 2 hours, and I remember doing something pretty incredible. I recorded about 7 songs in 2 hours.
Really?
It was that
Wow.
incredible. And just as we got back home that night, we got a call from the now president of Maven Records, Tega.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, Don Jazzy wants to see you." And then 2 weeks after, we linked up Don Jazzy in the studio. He expressed how impressed he was about me, and the rest is history. And then we got to find out that there were about 5,000 entries, and I was the only one chosen.
They actually went through the 5,000 entries.
Apparently.
Wow. This episode is brought to you by selfany.com. Selling your digital products shouldn't feel like climbing a mountain. If you're tired of broken experiences, chasing platforms for payouts, or having your customers struggling to access your content, then you should switch to Symphony. With Symphony, you can set up your pro store in minutes. No coding, no headaches. Just sell, get paid, and move on. One link, one storefront, and one of the fastest ways to sell to anyone, anywhere in the world instantly. With Symphony, you keep more of what you earn. So you should switch to symphony.com today. Symphony, powering creatives' happiness. So how was it like in Maven? We see the glitz and the glamour, we see everything, but can you give us like more insight into how it was and how it helped, your career?
Maven is one structured business,
Mm.
and it's pretty. I feel very privileged to have been tutored or like nurtured by what they had going on.
Mm.
Shout out to Don Jazzy. Shout out especially to Tega, who I think is really the mind or like the vision behind what Maven is. And again, shout out to Don Jazzy for letting him do his thing.
This thing, yeah.
Yeah, Maven is a pretty amazing structure. The time I had there was pretty nice. I learned a lot about the dedication and just how important making music is, and just how much you can get from making music and how much impact you can make just by being a musician. I don't think I would have gotten that doing it on my own or like doing it somewhere else.
Mm.
Yes, so yeah,
Mm.
Maven gave me a lot of insight and like prospect into what music could become for me.
Mm. So it's very important what you're saying, because when you have talent, you might just be like, oh, I just want to sing and all of that.
I
But
know.
in a lot of artists don't understand that a lot of structure is behind every successful artist,
Yeah.
and the business part, as you already mentioned as well. So I think it's a good insight for people who are listening. Okay, so but I want to ask you one question. What was the scariest part about living Maven for
Um,
you?
at the time, it wasn't so scary. I was pretty young, and I believed that I had so much that I could do.
Mm.
And knowing precisely that I am a leader, that I am called to lead a people, that I am called to lead a generation, it, I had the conviction to, step out and, follow my destiny,
Mm.
so to speak. It may have been premature
You think so?
in a sense,
Mm.
especially when I look at it from the lenses of other people.
Mm.
Um, it may have been, but I think I had to get on the road to becoming what I'm going to become as early as I needed to be.
Mm.
Yes, so I'm thankful for when I left. I'm thankful for the journey to the point that I am, and I'm very excited for what is to come.
Mhm. Cool. What about your relationship with other artists in the record label? Is it still cordial? You guys still work together? Are you still in good terms with Don Jazzy? Everybody over there? No bad blood or anything? Yeah.
Absolutely. Tua Savage is still a big sister forever. We always link up, make music. Corridor Bello, DJ, my good friends forever. Rema,
Mm.
absolutely cool. Crayon, pretty nice as well. I think I had met Bayani even before he got signed. So after I got signed, we had a recap on how we met, and we have a pretty nice relationship. I've met a couple of them as well. Magix, I've met Iris Star. She's pretty respectful, pretty humble about everything that she's up to. Um, and with Don Jazzy, that's my boss forever. He's in fact on The Game Needs You as
Okay.
a producer. He produced one of the tracks on that.
Okay. It was after you left Maven, you dropped Rora, right?
Absolutely.
And then when I heard it, I thought Don Jazzy was actually on the track. Was he?
No, it wasn't.
Were you? There was was that intention that it looked like Don Jazzy's voice?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't realize.
Are you serious? You can't tell me that you
Absolutely.
didn't know.
I don't know.
Really?
Yes,
We're
I
going to
know.
play the song later so you can hear it very well. All right, so let's talk about the music now for you. Reekado Banks, how would you describe yourself? How would you describe your music and compared to now? And then compare your music, how has it evolved over time from when you were at Maven to, you standing on your own right now?
Very much as it is right now. So at the time when I was making music in Maven Records, it was all, I realized recently that it was all as it came to me, I wasn't filtering anything.
Okay.
It was all just what came, I was pouring out, which is pretty nice and great to say the least. But now there is an intention behind the music, especially this coming album, to just express joy,
Okay.
express abundance, express
abundance,
positivity, express positivity. That really caps it all. That's like where I am at right now, and I think that's how it's going to continue to go. Just be intentional about the lyrics that you hear from me, and just how I want people to relate with it. I want you to know that life is good.
Okay. You're saying it now like this. It seems like it has been. It feels like it has all been rosy for you, right? And I'm pretty sure there were some ups and downs.
Absolutely.
There were some challenges. So can you tell us a bit about those challenges, and did they reflect in your music in any way?
Um, there's been many challenges, especially leaving Maven Records. I had a period of 5 years when I was in a partnership that, at the end of the day, I thought wasn't. I've always described it as the Israelites in Egypt.
How so?
Yeah, just how hectic
Oh.
it was, or how much of who I am was contained in a package that didn't appreciate it enough. Yeah. So that was pretty hectic, and it's expressed in one of the songs on the album. This song is called Too Wise for Lies. Yeah, and I think when you hear it, you'll be able to get a picture of what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that was just as hectic as it was. But I'm glad that partnership has ended now. Ended last year, I think 9-10 months ago, and I am, on a journey that I founded by myself, obviously in partnership with God, and all the amazing people that God has put around me to just help me through everything else that I can't possibly do on my own.
Okay, what inspired that song? Because now that you're talking, I'm wondering if that is it Mbadiwe?
Ozumba Mbadiwe.
Mbadiwe, yes, it's one of those songs that reflected your challenges at the time. What inspired the song?
Oh, Ozumba Mbadiwe was pretty much what we were going through as youths in Nigeria. That was I had been part of the protest, the NSAS protest.
Okay.
I was on the Ozumba Mbadiwe road protesting and hoping for SARS to come to an end, because the what's it called, oppression was a lot at the time, and I thank God that our voice counted. Although there's still a long way to go with like the force and stuff, but at least on that one it counted. Shout out to the souls that were lost. Apparently they're trying to say there's no souls that were lost.
Well, you were there and you witnessed it.
Yeah, so that was literally me talking the truth of the Nigerian youth.
Mm, okay. And then Rora too. What
Rora was basically sexual. Rora was basically sexual to say the least. It was just me
So
being
it
a
was
guy,
just you
me
being
being a
you.
man,
Okay.
an active man.
So now this new album,
All right.
what are we expecting in terms of the music, right? And then he called it "The Game Still Needs You."
The game needs you.
Oh, the game needs you,
Right.
and I think that's a powerful, very powerful album title. What inspired it?
Just as the name describes it or connotes it is it's it's some sort of encouragement to any and everybody that may be feeling some type of way about their God-given gifts, you know, sleeping on themselves, so to speak, or and this sleeping on yourself might not be your own personal uh, desire or wish. Like in my case,
Yeah.
that I described as Israelites being in Egypt, it was a circumstance of like somebody else or like another situation just like dampening your light and stuff. So rather than quit for the sake of yourself or somebody else or an external factor, you need to realize that you are supposed to rise above it and come out because the world needs you. The world needs your uniqueness. No matter how many people are doing what you do, there is something that you bring to the table that nobody else brings to the table, and the world needs to experience it. You can't make art and keep it in the house. Art is to be displayed. So you must
You must.
display your talent, display your gifts, your work, your everything.
Okay. So now the album is gonna come out this July, yeah?
July
And
7th.
you already have a single out with Miyoko, right?
Right.
How is
Two.
it
There's
going?
one Mukutu and then Glamorous with America.
Yeah.
Pretty nice. Mukutu is doing pretty nice.
Why did you choose to feature Miyoko on the song? The vibe was
Um,
good, by the way.
Thank you. I think me and Miyako are two of the most prominent like Afro pop artists. So making jumping on an Afro pop track together was supposed to be, you know, was supposed to be something. So I decided to get him on it, and he came in all of his glory and ate, in fact, ate me up on the song. And I'm so glad that he did because eventually it's my song. So yeah,
Yeah.
stream and enjoy the amazingness that Mayakon has done with myself on that track.
Okay. I'm gonna go to. Do you guys have any questions before we move into the challenges of the industry? Because there's no way you will come here and you will not tell us about the challenges, what the industry is facing,
Mm.
and how we can navigate through it. Because especially for other artists that are coming up, in the industry. But you guys have questions about his career. I'm sure you have, of course, his new album and all that. Okay, so the floor is yours.
It's nice of you to say that I'm one of the people you listen to, but the flip side of it is I'm a big fan.
I appreciate it.
I'm a big fan, biggest fan.
Respect.
Started out also singing. I actually wanted to. I when I did day there, singing wasn't a thing in Nigeria. I actually suffered singing. It looked like I was stupid. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Incredible.
Because at the end of the day, everybody was doing the Terry G kind of sound and everything,
Right.
and everybody was outside, and I was inside singing.
Mm.
Basically, seeing the likes of One Day change the whole industry, and then still from Maven, I mean, brought out the likes of you, so I became a fan. From there on, I love when people sing and everything. My first question will be, how is it that you know how to sing
Yeah, because that's the. I mean, we're in a creativity podcast.
Yeah.
Where did that come from, really? Is it church? Is it? I could tell you my own straight up. R. Kelly.
Right.
But who did you listen to? Who is the biggest influence? Because it's not it. It's not that everybody can sing.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have soul in it too as well.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
one of my best songs is Katapot. You know,
Right.
there's so
Yeah.
much soul in it.
Yeah, that
You
was
know,
good.
so how is it? Where does that come from? Where do you think it came from?
First off, I never actually joined the choir,
Mm.
even though my dad is a pastor. I never joined the choir. In fact, I was in the drama group. I was a,
Wow.
I was acting in church. I don't think I can act for anything right now though. But I always listen to music. I think some of my influences would be big influence would be Michael Jackson. Listening to Michael Jackson.
Mm.
Um, a lot of Chris Brown at
Mm.
some point.
Mm.
A lot of Frank Ocean.
Mm.
And then for the lyricism and all that, I think I was very, very engrossed in Jay-Z. I was
Mm.
very engrossed in who now? I think there was a little bit of Eminem in there. But like these were the people that I knew their songs. I always wanted to listen to whatever they dropped anytime. A lot of Lil Wayne eventually as well. I
Mm.
liked a lot of Lil Wayne as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how everything has now come to harness
Together.
into what this is.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then down to Afrobeats. A lot of Wande Cole.
Mm.
A lot of Wande Cole. A lot of Wizkid as well.
Mm.
Yeah, basically.
So is it you continuously rehearsing their songs, or when did you start writing by yourself, like your first song?
Oh, I think I wrote my first song way before I even decided to take making music or writing music seriously. I think I wrote my first song at like 6 years old. I remember walking to school and I had composed a song, and then I got back home. I sang it to my sisters, and they were like, "Oh, okay, that's a nice little number." And yeah, that was the beginning of writing. I don't think I wrote anything else until I was much older.
Mm.
But yeah, writing music was something that happened at a really, really young age
Mm.
for me.
Was there any hustle on the streets of Lagos?
Oh, absolutely.
Pursuing your music career, because those areas you mentioned are like music areas too as
Mm.
well. They're like different sound. Was there any hustle on the hood? I mean, like you just pushing your career.
A lot of hustle concerning the music was when I had now gotten into uni.
Mm.
I did this competition, a BlackBerry competition that I did with a group. It was like a form a band thing.
Mm.
And I remember I was reading in bed one day. My friend Jay Breeze, who's like Tiwa Savage's hype man now,
Oh yeah.
he had now come to my room. Was like, because he knew I could sing,
Yeah.
but he was popping in school.
Mm.
Like he had music popping in school, but I wasn't popping yet. But he knew I could sing, so he had heard about the competition and was like, "Hey, really, come on, come join my group, make
So that you
make I
can win.
so that we can win." And then
So you're like what the footballers will call they hire you machinery.
hey. And then I stood up from bed that day, I dressed up, I'm like, okay, let's go. And then he hit up another guy, MVP, a rapper. And we're like, this standard trio. And then we went and did the auditions, we qualified. Eventually we won the whole competition. And that was one hustle that, really stands out concerning the music. Aside that, then getting signed to Maven Records.
When we all talk about Ricardo, like just from behind that you don't know as a fan,
Okay.
and we talk about, the first thing we go to is Ricardo can sing.
Mm.
I just always think about it in a way whereby, but what's Ricardo's story? Is it intentionally? Is it very intentional that you're very calm And some people
Yeah,
are
I was
very,
going to
very,
say, look at how calm he is, but
yes.
in his videos and then shows. So, is this you naturally or
I believe there's not much more.
okay?
I'm
Continue.
chilling.
You're chilled.
You're
Chilling.
chilled like this. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
But I think basically we don't much talk about personality when it comes to Reekado Banks. I want to know if that's very intentional. You just want people to hear you and just your music. Some people actually have a whole dramatic way of
Yeah.
going about their career.
Um, making music for me wasn't something that came as, oh, I wanna make it in life. You know,
Mm,
Mm.
it wasn't a strategy to get
mm,
out of anywhere.
mm,
So making music for me is pure talent. I can do it, so I'm doing it.
Mm.
So I believe that that still remains the focus. Although now, while I am now, putting tours together, we're doing Canada in August, we're doing the UK and Europe in October, November. We'll be selling out
for sure.
good capacity
For sure.
venues.
Mm.
So it's now top of mind to put my character, my person
Mhm.
in forefront. Although my person still very much surrounds me just being talented and making good music and
Mm,
singing
yeah.
correctly.
Mm. Mm.
And whatever else that can be wrapped up around that, I am looking to, put that in place. Most of my fun things to do are not the fun things to do for everybody. I like to, or like for every guy out there.
Mm.
Basically, I'm a food lover. I like eating food. So
Mm.
I don't know if that's fun for
For
everybody.
everybody.
I like watching sports
Okay.
and not just like football. Football is like number 5 of top 5.
Really, what was your number
Yeah,
one?
MMA,
What's that?
That's the
mixed
fight.
martial
The,
arts.
the
Oh,
fight. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
fight. Oh, okay.
boxing, all
Okay.
that
Okay.
like stuff. So those things are not like so popular around here.
Yeah.
So you know, somehow I'm going to be able to like wrap them up in things that I'm going to be doing moving forward.
Mm. And I think I really understand and I agree with what you said about putting your talent first because I know that when we started hearing of Reekado Banks, even when there were a lot of publicity, I keep seeing this, oh, he's talented, oh, he's
Mm.
talented. So I think for him, it's talent first,
Mm.
and then you're building everything, your personal around it,
Yeah,
and then focusing on the music, right?
absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. What
Mm.
about, do you have any other
Yeah,
question?
sure.
This,
No,
this interview is for two of
no,
you,
no,
don't
no.
worry.
Absolutely.
No, it's not like that. So I recorded with you the first time I recorded with you, and
Which
once the
song is that? Where
beats.
is the song?
Oh no, it's not. It's not. Backstage. I mean, I
Oh,
don't. The song
okay.
might not come out. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
I
for
just
real?
had like a
See,
privilege
he
of
could not even.
recording.
He
Yeah.
doesn't even remember.
Yeah, I know.
can't.
I was about to say something,
Okay.
because that's how it is. He came to the studio and
Mm.
he heard the beat once and he
Mm.
just starts singing
Oh wow.
Interesting.
from
Okay.
A to Z. So definitely he
Oh,
will not
wow.
remember.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed is just how effortlessly, it was for you. This is critical. I've seen a lot of people say that sometimes people that are talented are always laid back, and the ones that are not go extra hard. I'm a victim of that. People say maybe we're too confident in what and it gives us that chill, and some other people know that they need to do extra work for that.
Mm.
Um, do you ever see? I mean, people around you want to like push you more than you are. Do you get because you're comfortable? Do you ever have like people want to just push you and say, do this, do that? No, if you do this one, it will blow. Or if you do that and you're not comfortable, is that your own situation? Or you've already, I mean, like Maven now, for example, did they just let you be?
I think for me, I'm usually the hardest worker in the room.
Mm,
Okay.
Comes to anything, it comes to my employees.
mm,
They know
mm,
I'm the hardest worker.
mm,
I am. Yeah, I pride in that.
Okay.
I'm the hardest worker in the room. So it may not reflect on things that I then present,
Mm.
but the back end,
Mm.
the log of work that is piled up
Yeah.
in
Mm.
my name
Mm.
on my account
Mm.
is definitely more than everybody in the room.
Mm. Okay.
And that's the part I'm talking about. Like, so much work, but people don't see it from the outside. People that
Because
do
you don't
clout,
project it.
people
Yeah.
that do clout is where people is the one that people now see. Do you understand?
I hear that.
Do you feel like, you might end up being like an executive behind, I mean, in the music industry because
Oh, absolutely. I
Mm.
see myself when I'm like, up until when I'm like 80 years old. I have like a nice tux on and a muffler, and I'm walking into my New York headquarters and stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
Great.
absolutely.
Okay, but I think he asked a question that I also want to re-echo in another way. This is you. This is how you decide to do your stuff. You decide to focus on your talent, and then you let it speak for you, and then you work behind the scenes to make it pop, right? Um, we're in the social media age, and there are a lot of artists. Like, I won't say you're lucky. You're not lucky. You worked hard for it, but you were privileged to start when I don't know whether it's a privilege. You will tell me when social media was not like this important, right? But right now, everything is centered around social media. And now it's looking as if your talent is not enough to make you pop on social media. That's why people do the clout thing. That's why people do other sort of content that is somehow, sometimes not even related to their music to make it, to make them stand out so that people would notice them. Now, you don't need that anymore because you are Reekado Banks, right? So, but people coming up, there are other artists coming up that are talented. What would you advise them, especially the ones that are calm like you? So, to promote their music online, would they need to do an extra work in terms of packaging, in terms of, building clouds and all of that online to be able to sell their music? Would you advise that, or what would be your advice?
So what I'm gonna say is that you should listen to your hearts.
Okay.
It has to come from the heart. Um, I think that will direct you in what way to go, definitely.
Okay.
And regardless of being Reekado Banks, I am still desirous of a lot more success than I have ever achieved. In fact, if I compound the success I've achieved, what I want is like times 100. So, with there are pretty, there are very many examples of people who have recently made good success by really just focusing on work and being consistent about it. I'll mention a few. Burna Boy, just really
True.
consistent,
Yeah.
working,
Yeah.
like an album every year. Another example, Ashake, just work. It's like a bag of music every year, a bag
Yeah.
of good music every
Every
year.
year.
Another example is Shay Vibes. So you can definitely focus on work majorly
Majorly, yeah.
and achieve very, very good success, optimal success. Yeah,
Your music can speak for you.
it absolutely
I
can.
agree.
And
Yeah.
you would like, it'll get to a point you can't be denied. That's the point you want to get
Yes,
to. You don't want to get
yes.
to the point where,
Yeah.
oh, he has come again. No.
No.
You get to a point where it's like, I mean, it's the same words, it's the same he has come again, but it's like the countenance behind saying it is different.
It's
Um,
true. I think I agree. Who's this guy's name again? I don't know why it's escaping me. The one with Davido, this popular song now.
Omale.
Malay, yes, it's not been on social media for a long while.
You know?
But
Yet.
yet everybody's talking about him
Yet.
because of his
He was
collaboration.
at the beginning of his career just actively
Yes, focused
doing
on
work.
Yeah.
Actively doing work. Even now, actively doing work. It doesn't have to be social media stuff. But you can hear him now, every now and then, quality music.
Great. I think this is a very, very good it's a very, very good advice for creatives out there in general, because I know a lot of them are conflicted. A lot of people are conflicted, like, oh, do I need to do this? Do I need to come out? Do I need to go naked?
It's a
Do I
lot of
need
pressure.
to, a lot of pressure, right? So, but Reekado Banks is saying to you today that sometimes you just have to focus on the work
All the
and
time.
all the time, right? And if it's not your personality to go all out there, you don't have to just focus on the work, be consistent, and let the work speak for you. I like what you said, that it will come to a time you cannot be denied.
Yep.
I really, really love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so so far so good. How would you describe the industry now? The Afrobeat industry right now. Are we at the peak? Are we declining? Are we going up? What's your take?
I think it's amazing what is happening.
Okay.
Burna Boy is selling out stadiums. Rema selling out arenas, stadiums as well. Wizkid achieving all these feats. Davido doing all these incredible things. And then there is many more. There's Adekunle Gold. There's myself. There's Kiss Daniel. There's Omale. There's so many people. I think we've come to a time that we've never been before. And I feel like it is looking up, because even as you mentioned 20 names, there are still very many prominent guys doing things that you won't mention in 20 names yet. They're up to amazing stuff. So I think this is a beautiful time for us as an industry, and I don't see how I don't know what might cut this thing short. I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell. But especially for the main players of it, they're doing an incredible job, and an incredible job of, in fact, shining light on the rest of us. So it's up. We're on the way up.
Really? Okay.
We're definitely like taking over the global space.
I think I had an interview with Bizu some time ago. I think about, do you know Bizu?
Absolutely.
Of course you do. And he is of the opinion that the Afrobeat industry is on a decline. So I wanted to know what your take on that was, right? So I think he feels like, okay, we've gotten to the peak, but we're doing so well internationally, but in the Nigerian space, right, we're not doing so well. Well, we're not doing tours in Nigeria. We're not building our own industry. We're just, what do you think?
I mean, on that note, I wish we would have more tours. Personally, I'm putting something together for September. I'll be touring.
Nigeria.
Yeah, I'll be touring about 5 states.
Okay.
In Nigeria. I was still speaking to my team this morning and just confirming the cities that we'll be touching. But while I'm yet to know what venues we'll be using, I wish that they were like already set up venues in these places. Something as nice as Terra Culture, maybe like 3 in every state will do us a lot of good. So hopefully when the money
no, you said you were going to sing about abundance, so the money is already like that.
So
right?
when it's time for that sort of stuff. So I'm definitely hoping that I can put something together.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say, because we all can't be complaining like crazy, like, oh, there is no venue.
That's why I'm not even saying the government should do anything.
You understand?
Nobody should do it. Don't worry.
We have to be the ones to do it ourselves. Yeah, because people who understand music are the people who understand the need for these things. Like if you've performed in Nigeria before, you perform abroad, and you see the difference, you'll be like, okay, we need to to make our own better. But in terms of making money with music, I mean, you're doing amazingly well for yourself and others as well. So the money is long, yeah. So for people who are for people who are thinking of joining coming to me, you
Make
guys,
music.
can you advise them on how to go about it, so that, because you had the privilege of being in Maven, you said it yourself, if not for Maven, you probably would have not understood the business of things. So
Mhm.
maybe you can just throw some advice out there.
Yeah,
Young
the money
artists.
is pretty impressive. Yet you spend almost all of it
Mm.
back into
Mm,
making it look as
mm,
good as it should.
mm,
But thank God you love to make music,
mm.
so it won't be a problem for you when you start to make your money and put it back in there. You'll feel fulfilled. In fact, you'll be able to, in fact, pass it on to your child,
Mm.
and that's the legacy that you want to build. So, like I said, focus on the work. Let the work do the talking. Let it make the money, and use that same money to like continue to build all the infrastructures that you need.
What
Interesting.
exactly? Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Interestingly, sorry, I don't. I want to connect mental health to money.
Mm.
Basically, you said something like making money and putting it back to what you're doing. In our era, there was no money. I can tell you. But
Yeah, your
Yes.
videos were looking good, bro.
that okay. You know what?
Your
They
videos.
was my ex girlfriend putting in the video. Like we actually have to improvise. Do you understand? My
Interesting.
graphics guy had to actually give me the suit and the tie. Do you understand what I'm
Wow,
saying?
it looks
So
good.
you have to also the way you have to also, but there was no return, and which is very very interesting what you said. I think now there's return to some large extent,
Mm,
and now people can put it back to the music.
mm,
Back in our time, what we really struggle with is mental health issue, and because we don't see return in what you invest in, so then if you produce a lot of things and you put it in, you have to go and look for another money again. You've
I
lost,
know.
right? And go and still repeat that process all
Cycle.
over again.
Mm.
So but the interesting thing about it is like right now, is there a moment where you feel so pressured with either finance or whatever that really affect you mentally? Because I know I told Bizu too as well that we don't talk about artists having that breakdown,
Mm.
at all. You know,
I'm
Eh,
sure he had it because he took some time off to go to Gabon. Is it Gabon to go
Yeah,
and relax,
yeah.
right?
we don't talk
Yeah.
about it enough. I would say, I actually wanted to end it all. At the
Mm,
time, yeah, a couple of times. Thank God I'm still alive to talk about this.
mm,
So I've seen, I heard one time like there's an artist in Ikorodu that killed himself.
mm.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, oh, so it's not just me. So a lot of people are going through this. Was there a time like I want you to explain what it feels like, and what do you
Um,
do to get out of it?
so unlike your time, there is now opportunity to, make money off of like streaming
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I always think about this, and God willing, I'm able to put something together for like the legends,
Mm,
just to be able to tap into something.
mm,
I'm hoping that it won't be what I have set aside for myself,
mm.
but
Yeah,
even
of
if it
course
has to
not.
be that, I'm hoping that I'm able to, let that go. But more importantly, a way where we can make their songs just earn as much as it should,
Yeah.
Mm.
or as much as it did then, just so that they can really like eat the fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Their level.
Yeah,
Mm.
the way that we're
Yeah.
eating
Mm.
ours
Mm.
now,
That's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
very thoughtful.
and for me, there were times when I thought it wasn't enough
Mm.
Mm,
to put back in,
Mm.
but there was something.
Mm.
mm,
But now I'm in a position where I'm not bothered about
mm,
stuff like that, particularly because I've decided that I'm taking from God's treasury.
mm,
And in that abundance, I am
Mm.
living.
Yeah.
mm,
So I do not lack.
Mm.
mm,
In fact, I have more than enough.
mm.
Mm.
So yeah,
So
Yeah.
basically,
God is the
basically,
yeah, God is the healer
the
through those
one,
moments.
the one, the
Mm,
restorer, the everything.
mm.
Mm. Mm. That's interesting. So the album, The Game Needs You, is coming out soon, right? If that
July
album were to
7th.
be a movie, what would it be called?
I think the game needs you still.
What role
Or-
will you play?
Or let me see which iconic movies out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any. I'll keep it as the game needs you.
Okay, cool. So, what should people expect from this album?
Collaborations.
Yeah, collaborations. And everything.
Collaborations. I worked with guys that literally let me know the game needs me.
Oh.
Mm.
You know, guys that literally wanted to ensure that everybody knows that I am needed in the game. So shout out to Skibi, shout out to Mayoko, shout out to Fino, shout out to Terry Akpalat, shout out to Cash Coming, shout out to Winnie. Winnie is a lady that you may not have heard of, but is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad that the majority of people will get to hear her from my album.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the album is I hate to convince you, but the album is a beautiful piece of work that you'd be happy to hear.
Interesting. So, if you would describe it with an emoji, like 3 emojis, which emoji would you?
I don't know. This is not an emoji, but it's like
Producers.
made it. I worked with some amazing producers, starting with the Don Baba himself,
Done.
Okay.
Shout out to the Don.
Del B,
Mm.
there's Shemzy, there is I'm trying to say the prominent ones. There's Tuzi who produced
Yeah.
Rora and
Wow.
Sensima. And then there are like young ones as well. There's Fizzy Beats who I met outside church. There's Skita. If I'm forgetting any name, please forgive me.
Okay, cool. I think I had one question written here. Yes. Let's go and talk a bit about your fans. I think you call them the Rick Addicts.
Right.
Yes. So, how involved are they in your life and in your music? How involved do you make them? Do they have a say? Do you think of them when you write and all that?
I've been a bad. I don't know if they're my fans. What am I?
Hmm?
You are the leader now. You're
Okay,
the
I've been
leader
a
of the-
bad leader for quite some time. Possibly because I'm facing my own life as well. But shout out to my fans. They were there. Always have been there. There's a track dedicated to them on the album.
Okay.
And
Which one is that?
it's called Bro. Yes. So it's literally dedicated to all my brothers and fans and everybody that I hold in high esteem, especially for the fact that they have been with me all along. So yeah, so I'm thinking about you, basically, as the album would have it, and the involvement would be more evident, just as it was very, very evident in the beginning of my career. We used to have hangouts. We used to have just. I remember doing lunch with a bunch of them, all that good stuff. So the listening would have a bunch of them as well.
Okay.
I had a bunch of them in the London listening too. So yeah,
Yeah, cool.
Sorry.
we're getting back into the
Yeah, because
cohesion.
community is important.
Important.
Yes,
Yeah.
very important.
Something just came to my mind. You
Yeah.
know, what did you miss from, like, let's say all the people in Maven? I want you to say one thing you missed from each of them. We have Don. We have
Don Jazzy would be. Okay, no, let me start where I have it. I think, and just be as honest as possible. I think the competition with Corey De Bello was pretty healthy and nice. The friendship with Dija, I loved it. I still love it. The encouragement from Tiwa Savage and the mentorship from Dr. Sid. The I'll say mentorship as well from Deep Prince. And just the overall cover and protection of Don Jazzy.
That's amazing. Amazing.
I respect.
Amazing.
Ella, you have a question?
Okay, hi.
Hiya.
Before you came here, I was thinking about the questions to ask you. And when you came here, all of a sudden I have 10,000 questions.
Wow.
First of all, I think I mentioned earlier that I would picture you as a disciplined person. I'm not sure why I would. Maybe because you came early today. So I said,
works.
I said, I respect you for that. You came quite early and I really respect you for that. That being said, because of this thing you did, a question popped into my head. There's a pandemic of indisciplined creatives. So when you work with a creative, what is in their head is, I have talent, you can't do this. What do you mean? So there is a pandemic of creators that don't understand work culture. They think because they are just creative, there is no business side to it, there is no work ethic side to it. And because you came here early today, I want to assume you have those work. I mean, you do have those. Plus, you're a chill guy, so I believe you do. So, what would you think is the cause of this thing? Would you imagine that creatives get too obsessed? And because you're in the music industry, I don't want to say especially music guys. I would say
But
graphics,
especially music
exactly,
guys, yes.
especially music guys. Even the ones that are just great, they're just proud. Like, bring down your shoulder, would you? So it's crazy. It's actually crazy. I have a personal beef with graphic designers, but that's not why we are here. So, music guys, what do you think is the cause of what fuels their ego? What do they see in this industry that makes them so obsessed with their craft that they forget to be disciplined? What would you say is the cause of this?
I would say that until I started to run my own company, I think if I was still at Maven Records, coming here would be a disaster as well.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Because of just how entitled I would be. Because I have a bunch of everybody doing everything for me besides making my music. In fact, there might be people making my music. You know? So, me doing this on my own, I realize just how important any and everybody is. Any and everything is. Any and every show is. You know what I'm saying? So, this, if I'd be early to an interview in the UK, in America, I might as well be early in Lagos.
That's amazing. That's a good, culture.
But if I was taken care of all through, if I wasn't the one in charge of myself, I don't think I'd think that way.
So that's one of the reasons.
Many of them are babies.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you for that. So, okay.
I can also answer that. Also, the fact that there is smoking boo.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that.
Because
I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to just leave that on the side and not be judgmental.
There is this brand that it's not just one brand. There are lots of them, and then they complain about, especially musicians being the ambassadors, right? If they had maybe like an actress or...
I mean, that's why like these content creators are taking everything.
Yes, that's why they're taking everything, because at least most of them, to some extent, they understand discipline. Okay, so you put a shoot by 8 a.m. and the artist is coming by 6 p.m., 7 p.m. in the night.
Swagged out too.
Swagged out, and then they'll come and be like, oh, I can't start until I have like 1 carton of what drink is that? Let me not call name. So it's crazy, and maybe like you said, because they are babies and everything is taken care of, they don't understand discipline. But I don't know what we can do to change that, because everybody
just get them in the gym and
yes, because personally,
consistently create a routine.
Really,
they'll be fine.
And then because it affects them, a lot of brands now shy away from wanting to work, because they'll be like, I'll pay a lot of money, but
get no results.
Get no results. They are not there to work with you on it. Their managers are not available to work with you on how to make the brand, stand
scale
out.
up.
Yes. Ella, you have another
Yes.
question. Yeah.
So, like I said, that was one pandemic. I think after Corona, there's just been a pandemic of so many things. There is also a pandemic of people wanting to do music. I
No,
want
that
to
has always
believe-
been there.
Yeah,
Oh.
I believe the average. Maybe I'm just noticing, but I believe the average young person wants to start music, and because there is no, I don't know if they don't listen to music enough, or they are trying to look for a way to run away from 9 to 5. I mean, we always say on this podcast that it's not bad for you to have a job. If you think your creative is not working, go and work now. But people want to run away from their jobs, and I like that you spotlighted that you did not do music to run away from anything.
Right.
It was just you wanting to do your thing.
Yep.
And so people want to run away from something, and then they just put anything out there. And thanks to social media and PR, everybody's
could
listening to
work.
just anything.
It can
That
work.
could work.
Yeah.
So I have so many questions about this. I don't know where to start from. First of all, what is inside that music what they are running to? What is inside there?
I guess the freedom that we tend to express that we have.
And the lifestyle you guys also showcase.
I don't know.
So I don't
The
know.
lifestyle is what comes with
Mm.
the freedom, I guess. I mean, we're able to spend money sometimes anyhow because we are very sure that there will be more in a bit.
You know, when you even said the other time that you put your money back, I wanted to ask you what exactly do you? Well, you said it's a lot of money you put back. So I wanted to ask, what exactly do you spend the money on?
So currently, I'm putting a show together. I'm putting a tour together.
Okay.
And this tour, I'm starting in Abuja, July 18th. I'm running it by myself.
Your own money,
Yeah,
putting
my
your own money
Yeah.
there up front.
Book the venue.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot,
everything.
That's a lot.
I'm doing a UK tour.
Mm.
I'm literally booking everything.
Mm.
I'm okay. The Canada one, I got a promoter to book it.
I'm sorry. Hope this is recorded so you could put on Netflix and sell it back, as content.
Okay, so you gave me all this content. I call you big bro. So yeah, all of this stuff. Getting my team to Abuja would be there 10 days before the gig. The band would have been there rehearsing. The dancers would have been there. I'm going to have a media team. We're going to be filming for YouTube. I'm literally going to get a new camera. We have cameras, but I'm looking to get a new camera for all of this.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, Ella, back to your question.
Yeah.
What I wanted to conclude with is, what would you tell upcoming artists that are just rushing to get into the industry? And I don't want to say they forget why they are starting, because they don't have any reason why they are. I don't want to believe they have any reason, because they're just rushing. So my question would be, what would you say to this, flock of...
You have a beef. You have a beef with upcoming. Imagine your son wants to become an artist. You are going to give him
You don't mind that.
problem. I hope you don't.
No.
I hope you don't.
No, flock is just my way of saying, many people.
Right.
So let's just say, these people, what would you say to these people that, want to rush into this industry? And what advice would you want to give to them, these upcoming artists that, they think it's all glitz and glam, it's all enjoyment there. They are running away from something. They are trying to just take advantage of social media and forget. Because why I have beef with them is because they are corrupting my I love music a lot. And they're not making me hear what I want to hear, because everybody now is listening to their style and calling it, new sound, and then the actual good sounds that we were
New
supposed
sound.
to listen to. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So they call it new sound, and I just
I'm
want
going to ask you to make an example. Let him answer. I'm going to give you an example.
So what would you say to these people? What advice? I'm saying advice for lack of better expression, but what advice would you give to these people that just want to, run into the music industry? And do you think they are doing any, from what I think, do you think they are doing any harm to the industry or whatnot? Or do you think they're just purging the industry with new sounds?
This episode is brought to you by selfany.com. Selling your digital products shouldn't feel like climbing a mountain. If you're tired of broken experiences, chasing platforms for payouts, or having your customers struggling to access your content, then you should switch to Symphony. With Symphony, you can set up your pro store in minutes. No coding, no headaches. Just sell, get paid, and move on. One link, one storefront, and one of the fastest ways to sell to anyone, anywhere in the world instantly. With Symphony, you keep more of what you earn. So you should switch to symphony.com today. Symphony, powering creatives' happiness. He has heard your question.
I
Don't worry,
think
answer.
um based on how I got into it, like you reiterated my own expression. I had said that I didn't get into it to run away from anything. So if you are running away from another responsibility that is core to your being, you may be doing something wrong.
Mm.
So it all still goes back to, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart, follow your heart. And just do what it says.
Mm.
Yeah, for me, that's how I got to where I am at the moment. And not following my heart was how I made some mistakes
Mm.
that I have made.
Mm.
So it's as simple as staying still and hearing what your heart is saying and following it.
To buttress your point, it is true that people are running away from something. I will say, I'm from Surulere, and at the time there were millions. It's not just now that's the whole music thing
Yeah.
people wanted. It's like forever,
Mhm.
And I used to say that there's no everything. There's always everything is always political and economical. There's economics in things. People see it as an escape route to a better life.
Mhm.
And that was real. When I was in Surulere, I had a squad, and we were like 99 or 100 of them. We'll go, in Lawansing, we'll go straight to the hood, and we'll be rapping and punching ourselves. If you say your mama, you punch, and I'm telling you, it was violent with music at the time. So people, when there's this old social media, is making us see a lot of things that has been also elements of it has been happening way back, but people are actually running away from the ghetto life. That's what I'm trying to say. Poverty. People are running away from poverty. They see music or entertainment as a route to go. And it is real, because everything whenever you're looking at situation, we have to also look at it from political. The where you're staying, Nigeria is a factor. People that are supposed to be in an engineer, this, that, if there's no job opportunities and they feel like music is they can easily do music, that's one of the reasons why.
Don't discourage
Absolutely.
them, Ella, okay? They're not your enemies, okay?
Yeah.
They just want to make money. They just want a better life, Yeah. But I don't think they are doing any harm in the industry, okay? So it's like everything. There's the positive side, and there's always the negative side. So it's good that everybody's in music. The ones that will blow, and they will still help. They will still help the country.
Ones that do not blow would be the ones streaming the ones
that are blown. I'm
Thank
telling
God
you.
for a lot of upcoming artists.
Yes.
There are some artists that would there's some artists that will not have views or stream if there are no upcoming artists.
Because the population will not
because the
listen to them.
population they are
But
listening.
there are many people into music, so there's like
Let me see
reason to search. And
You understand? Because the population listens to the popular ones,
right.
but the upcoming artists are listened to by the upcoming artists.
Fair enough.
Yes. So once again, thank you so much for coming, Reekado Banks. The album is coming out when again?
7th July, 7/7.
Yeah. 7/7.
7/7 is a number. That should be your intro. 7/7.
And it's going to be an amazing one. You've heard it from Reekado Banks. He's a bunch of talent, and he's collaborated with a lot of amazing artists. And I cannot wait for you guys to listen to it. So I can't wait to listen to this album. The game needs you. So when it comes out, make sure you stream, and then make sure you share to everybody around
Yep,
you.
yep.
Yes, very, very
Because
important.
it's positive vibes. You want to share that.
Oh, great, great. And the tour is coming up pretty soon too,
Yeah.
in July.
First leg, Abuja, July 18th.
Okay. And then we go to UK and Canada as
We'll go to
well.
Canada, then more Nigerian cities than the UK.
Okay. Great, great, great. Thank you so much for coming, Reekado
Thank
Banks.
you
It's
for
been an
having me, Linda.
amazing time. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being disciplined. Thank you for being a role model to other people out there, for them to know that, you can be disciplined. You can focus on the music and still make it. Okay. And
Absolutely.
your money will still be long,
Aja.
And then always put God, like him is always putting God first. And if you're down and you're thinking and you're being suicidal, just turn to God. That's what he did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Just turn to God and you have that freedom, to express. I used to tell people God is the ultimate creative. That's your source right there. Yeah.
Like, no need to explain too much. Like, how are you here in the first place?
Yes. How are we here? So many different people, so many colors, so many tribes, tall, short, fat thing. God is so creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming, Reekado
Thank
Banks.
you, Linda.
Yes, and we can't wait to hear The Game Needs You.
Oh, shit.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye. Woo!